Welcome to another edition of Tech Tuesday presented by Delta Media Group, where I was on my way to the office the other day and I came across this pony with a sore throat. How did I know it had a sore throat, you might be wondering? Well, it was a little horse. Today, I am going to take a look at QR codes. QR codes have been making a bit of a resurgence here in the past few years. They kind of came about, were very popular for kind of a short time, and then kind of drifted away, and now they've been picking back up again. I think that we are in a world now where we are finding not only more uses for QR codes that make sense, but also there's better device support for QR codes across the board. You don't have to download special apps anymore to read them, anything like that. So QR codes are now becoming more useful than they have been in the past. So we are looking at adding some new QR code functionality to the system, so I figured I would start off by making a video that just takes a look at the QR code functionality that exists in the DeltaNET today. So, anybody who has an upgraded agent account does have access to printable QR codes. Now you can generate a QR code anywhere. I could just run a Google search for QR code generator. I could put in a URL or really any string of text that I want that QR code to represent, and I could generate a QR code from it. The nice thing about using the interface in the DeltaNET for it is that there is an interface to track usage of and manage the QR codes, so that you're actually seeing when they've been clicked on, how often they've been used, and you have the ability to reuse the QR codes for different purposes. So we'll go into the interface and take a look at it and go from there. So to get to the QR code system, now there may be a tile for it on your marketing landing page, so we'll click on marketing over here, and you can see that I have a tile here for QR codes. Now these are customizable per company, so you may not have a QR codes tile here. If you don't, and you have access to the QR code system, you may still be able to get to it by just typing QR codes up here in the quick actions bar and having it come up in the results. You do need to be on an upgraded agent account, so you have to have an upgraded account, and QR codes has to be enabled or basically not turned off by the company at the company level. So if you do have access to them, you'll either be able to get to them from the marketing landing page most likely, or you'll be able to type them into this quick actions and click on it there. So once you're in the interface, you can see that we have a list of printable QR codes. So what this allows you to do is, now I believe you'll have a handful of these by default. You can potentially get more by reaching out to us. But usually you don't need very many because, like I said, they are reusable. So basically, the way this system works is when you click Generate QR Code, you can see it generates this shortened URL here. And essentially, I could click on Download at this point, and I would have the QR code representation of this URL. Now, because we're doing it that way, you now have the ability to choose where you would like this URL to go. So I'll click on Download, and you can see it actually opens up my my download prompt. So I'll save that into my download. So now I've essentially downloaded a PNG of the QR code image. And we'll click on that to bring it up and bring it into the window so that you can see it. And then there we go. This is what my QR code looks like. So if I scan this QR code, it will go here, which will currently redirect nowhere because I don't have it set to go anywhere. So we'll move this out of the way. And you can see here that that URL is set to go to page not found. Now I can click on this and I can tell it to go to property, and then it will load up all of the properties that are attached to my account. So if I wanted to go to this one, I just select that, and essentially that makes this URL, and by proxy the QR code, redirect to the detail page for this listing. So I can very easily select from any of my listings there. Now if I don't want it to go to a property, I can have it go to a home page, or let's say that I want to set this up and print it out and put it at one of my listings. So while it's there, it could go to that listing's detail page. But then once that listing goes off the market, once I sell it, maybe I just want it to go to my home page because those QR codes are still floating around out there. So I can just switch that, and now it's set to go to my home page. If I wanted to go to a specific domain, if I have multiple domains attached to my website, I can do that as well. I can just select from my alternate domains there. Oh, there we go. I have to select one way or the other. So I can select just my standard domain or any of the primaries that I have set up here. So I can choose which domain it will use. Next, I can switch it to go to a vCard. So basically there is a vCard that's automatically generated that has my contact information in it. So essentially this could just load up that vCard, which is essentially a downloadable file. So if I scan this on a mobile device, which is going to make the most sense since it is ultimately a QR code, what it would do is redirect to this vCard file, and I could just click basically add to contacts from that point, and it will automatically add all my information to that person's contacts. And then lastly, I can have it go to a specific URL. This is particularly useful if I just want to send this off to some third-party page, or if I have, say, a specific page on my website that I want to leverage this QR code for, I can direct it straight to that page. So just gives me that kind of flexibility where I can really make this QR code go wherever I want it to. Now, as I said, I could go, and this, if I set it to go to page not found, it'll have me confirm that that's going to be a 404 response. So 404 means the page is not found. But that aside, I can take this and point it at whatever I want. And the nice thing about doing it here, instead of, as I said, going to a third-party QR code generator site and just building it up there, is that not only can I change it as I see fit, but I can view stats on it as well. So if I go up here to the top, this one actually has had some activity, so we'll click on View Stats, and you can see that this has been used once while it was redirecting here on this date, and it was used twice on this date while it was redirecting here. So not only does it keep track of how many times that QR code was used, but it keeps track of where that QR code was going at the time. So it lets me see if I've changed this QR code, if I've used it for different listings, what day and how many times it was used to access those kinds, or those particular listings that it was pointing at the time. So really just a complete history of usage of the QR code. Now the next thing I can do here is I can add a title to these QR codes. That just makes it a little bit easier for me to keep track of if I'm making changes there. And lastly, if I have a lot of QR codes set up on this page, I can search through those QR codes as well, just to make it a little bit easier to find one if I have all of these filled out, or if I've had even more added and filled out even more. So there you have it. It's really as simple as that. You can go to this page, set up a QR code to go wherever you'd like, download it, and then once you have it downloaded as a PNG, you can print it out yourself. You can take it to a print shop to be printed. And once you take it to a print shop or send it to, even some kind of third-party online printer, you can really have it printed on whatever you want. So if you wanted to print out a yard sign, or if you wanted to print out pretty much anything, you can have this QR code printed on it, and then dynamically use this interface to change it to whatever you want. So, as always, thanks a lot for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to send an email to support@deltagroup.com or give us a call and we can help you out with whatever you need. And if you are getting any use out of these videos and you're enjoying watching these and learning more about the DeltaNET, don't forget to like and subscribe and click the bell and you'll get notifications when we come out with more training videos. So, thanks a lot for joining me, and I will see you again next week.